Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Richard Miner. I'm the Graduate Engagement Officer at One Spirit Learning Alliance in New York City. And today it is my great honor and pleasure to be here with Reverend Therese Bimka. Therese, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Richard. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Therese, I've really been looking forward to doing this interview with you because this is an opportunity to introduce you to our larger community who may not know you. You are currently the spiritual director of the Interspiritual Counseling Program at One Spirit. You're also a licensed clinical social worker. You're a spiritual counselor. You're an artist, an author, a workshop leader, an educator, and an interfaith minister ordained in 2008. That's quite an impressive list of credentials. We are so thrilled that you are part of our community. Can you tell me a little bit about what your role is and what you teach at ISC?
Sure. Thank you, Richard. So I've been the director for 8 years now. It's amazing how time has flown by, but it's been a wonderful 8 years and a privilege and an honor to be serving in this way. At ISC, we have a number of what we call mini-series and concentrations that comprise our curriculum. And so in my wheelhouse, I tend to be the one that teaches on the variety of skills related to what we call best practices. So those tend to be the clinical skills, how to have healthy boundaries in the counseling relationship, what is appropriate self-disclosure, how to work with big emotions, when to refer, when are we out of our depth. So those tend to be the presentations that I do and offer. But one of my deep loves and one of my other specialties is leaning into the expressive arts as a portal to the divine, as a form of prayer, as a way of communion, and blending the expressive arts with spiritual counseling. So one of our concentrations coming up actually in year A, this next year, will be a deep dive into a variety of expressive art modalities and as a way to be in a conversation with spirit. So that's some of what I teach. I teach about 40% of the curriculum, so I'm teaching almost every weekend. And but those tend to be the areas that I'm called forth on.
Therese, tell me, what do you love the most about the Interspiritual Counseling Program?
Well, it is truly a labor of love for me, and I am just so blessed to come to work at One Spirit and have such a fabulous team of deans and support staff that comprise the ISC family. We have a very solid, loving, competent, fun, dynamic team, and it's a tremendous blessing for me. The associate director, who is Sally Schwager, we went to seminary together, and Sally is truly my anam cara, my soul sister. So we do prison ministry work together, and we always knew we would be working together somewhere, and it's been a tremendous delight to have her as the co-director of the program. In addition to the great family staff that we have, we are blessed with fabulous students. We get very, very deep spiritual seekers who are committed to being in service to the world, to the world that is in many ways broken and in pain. And so what a joy to be able to companion people who are so committed so open-hearted to do this work. So it's wonderful in so many ways.
It's a beautiful program, and we do have some really amazing people working in and through this unique system. Can you tell me, what is it that is unique about this Interspiritual Counseling Program?
Yeah, so there's a number of training programs out there. We, of course, have the interspiritual lens, the universal principles, the perennial wisdom that is infused in our program, as opposed to coming from a specific tradition. Historically, spiritual direction has been very Christian-based. It's more open now, and it speaks to many different traditions, but we are certainly leaders in interspiritual education. In addition, ISC has a really solid a blend of both practical and inspirational. We hear from our students over and over again how much they need and want and yearn for those practical tools, different ways that they can incorporate an approach, a modality, an intervention the very next day, right after class. So we have the practical piece that's very grounded and anchored. We have the inspirational, and we have what I think is a lovely blend between the clinical and the spiritual. So by the time our students complete the 2 years of training with ISC, they have a solid foundation in the counseling skills arena of how to sit with people in the most tender of places. People bring their tender hearts, they bring their pain, they bring their confusion to a spiritual counselor, and knowing how to sit with that, how to be present, how to deepen their inquiry. It involves so many variety of skills and techniques, but mostly the most important tool in the toolbox is our own presence and our capacity to stay authentic and coherent in the face of the very real life circumstances that people face. So I think we really prepare our students for that in a solid way.
And Therese, what do you bring to the Interspiritual Counseling Program?
I bring a lot of curiosity. I like my work to stay alive and to be like a living, breathing relationship. So whenever I'm teaching, even if I've taught the class several times before, I really approach it with an aliveness. Like even now I'm preparing for my class on Jung, and I spent the whole month marinating in Jung, reading the Red Book and looking at his artwork and making art, homage to Jung. So I try to really have a very alive relationship. But I think I bring warmth, I bring deep, deep care, unconditional love, profound non-judgmentalness, and the skills of attunement, really paying attention to what's in the field, both within the classroom and the world at large, like really tuning in. It's not uncommon or unheard of that I might make a course correction in the middle of a weekend because something's bubbling up in the classroom that needs attention, that needs our loving care, that needs to be addressed. So, yeah, I think that I bring that kind of attuned leadership to the program. And I like to dance and have fun. Can't forget that.
Therese, you do an amazing job, and you do bring so much to bear on this really important program. What is the one thing you would tell someone who's considering the ISC program?
It's a commitment, but it is the way seminary is a commitment, right? But it's an opportunity for a deep dive. To really drop in, to look at and be in a conversation with what are the ways that you might be held back, what are the obstacles to your presence, how do we live more fully into our potential, how do we lean into that. And what our students tell us is that it's a very transformative journey, both personally and professionally, and that these skills that you learn at ISC, they're applicable to one-on-one private practice as a spiritual director. They're applicable to group and congregational settings and nonprofit settings. They're applicable to parenting. These are really life skills as well. So it's really an opportunity for personal and professional transformation.
Thank you so much, Therese. You do an amazing job, and this is such a powerful and unique program. We are so grateful that you are part of our community and that you continue to share your experience and your wisdom and your growth with us. Thank you for talking to me about the Interspiritual Counseling Program, and I will look forward to seeing you in the halls of One Spirit.
Thank you, Richard. Pleasure to be with you as always. Thank you.